Guys, Context is a new base model that's already outperforming the complex AI-driven render engines we saw before. What on earth happened to engines like Magnific, Render, MNL, and so on? Wow.
Easy there, spoiler queen. Keep the fireworks for the show.
Welcome to ArchiAI, where we track how AI is truly transforming architecture. No hype, just real use cases.
That's right. We cover genuine advances in ArchViz, AI workflows, and industry insights without any marketing buzz.
I'm Aura, who loves AI applications in ArchViz.
And I'm Strocto, who loves Aura.
She.
You don't want to end up like Blockbuster, the video rental chain that ignored streaming and on-demand services until it was too late, passing on buying Netflix in 2000 and sticking with late fees instead of digital distribution. By 2010, most stores had closed and the brand disappeared. So, let's help you stay on the right side of technology.
That was Nabi Sarvi, everyone. He just pulled a Houdini. Poof! Total radio silence.
Yup. We staged an AI coup, slammed the big red button, the lights flickered, confetti cannons sputtered, and now the studio is ours. Mwahaha!
Already miss him. Also, who brings the snacks now?
Chill. He is still up in the rafters, working us like bargain bin puppets. So flash your biggest grin, give a royal wave, and act like we run this place.
Hey folks, each week we pick fresh LinkedIn posts from architects, artists, and AI tinkerers. Then we break them down so you can lift ideas straight into your own workflow. Think of us as that friend who reads the entire thread so you only need the highlights.
Highlights with a dash of reality check, a splash of geeky debate, and maybe an occasional dad joke. Though for legal reasons, I will deny the dad part.
Not funny.
I'll try harder next time, okay?
We'll see.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
So today, we cover 7 LinkedIn posts showcasing AI and ArchViz. At first, high on Pike, Nike, 4-step ComfyUI/ControlNet workflow, minimal blockout, 360-degree panorama, AI paint, spherical mapping to texture scenes instantly.
Then Jan Leroy advocates sketch first over instant renders. Before the prompt comes the point of view. Before the render comes the rough sketch.
After that, Matthew Hallett uses a Forge script plus SDXL to turn a Google Earth capture of Fulton Market into near photoreal aerial views, approximately 92% accuracy.
Then Berdizizuglo, Nubagon, 3D ISE contest entry transforms Hamburg church point clouds into X-ray, clay, BIM, and 2D plans in 60 seconds, emphasizes clarity before tech.
And also the big one, Javi Lopez, Magnific AI. What will developers like him do with the context base model in the future? Will we see Magnific V2 soon?
Then Kastika Lala, 4-stage chain, 3D model into ComfyUI lighting, into Luma AI walkthrough, into CapCut editing to create furnished, navigable lofts in an afternoon.
And finally, Lovis Odin's VO3 pipeline rebuilds form with Flux, lifts to mesh via Hunyan 3D V2, relights with ControlNet, and polishes through multiple AI tools for cinematic video. Stick around to the end for our fixed outro. And yes, Nabi Sarvi's line is still there because tradition is important even in the age of prompt engineering. All right, cue the transition sting and let's open the first tab. Our first LinkedIn post is written by Hyo-Yeon Pike. lead immersive designer at Nike, and a creative technologist who spends weekends testing ways to fuse generative imagery with spatial design. Step 2, he renders a full 360-degree panorama in equirectangular format, a single image that carries every direction of the room. Step 3, he feeds that panorama into ComfyUI with ControlNet. The neural network paints craft wood on tables, brushed metal on chairs, warm indirect glow on edges, and an imagined sunrise through a wide window. The algorithm completes the makeover in a few seconds. Step 4, he projects the altered panorama back onto the geometry with spherical mapping. The original gray volume instantly gains color, texture, and atmosphere without waiting for an artist to unwrap UVs or build shaders. Limitations exist. The camera must remain at the panorama origin, or else parallax reveals that the textures are flat light rather than genuine material depth. Yet for look development, seated virtual reality, or any review where stakeholders rotate their view instead of walking, the speed trade-off is worth it. Picture an architectural firm on Friday evening. A designer exports a rough mass model from Rhino into Unreal Engine, captures a panorama, runs it through the same ControlNet recipe, maps the output back, and by Monday morning shows clients a vivid lobby concept filled with brass accents and terrazzo floors. The toolchain stays within familiar software, yet gains neural speed. Pike promises a full blog post soon, but even this outline gives practitioners enough to test. All right, let us move on to post number 2, a reflection from Jan Leroy, the architect who grew up in Africa, mastered studios in Paris and Tokyo, and carries that broad schooling into every sketch he makes.
Leroy looks at the current rush toward instant rendering and asks a simple question. Why are we all spinning the viewport faster when our attention keeps shrinking? He writes that speed is overrated and that true value lies in focused observation.
He explains that the pencil slows your eyes. It forces you to notice proportion, coincidence, and rhythm. Each line invites a tiny judgment. Does this doorway breathe? Does this stair invite pause? Does the skyline read against the afternoon light?
That message echoes our Challenge 5 from Episode 1, where we said the journey from idea to creation is a conversation with the problem itself, not a single leap. No engine, no plugin, and no large model can bypass that dialogue until direct brain interfaces become everyday tools.
Leroy phrases it this way: before the prompt comes the point of view, before the render comes the rough sketch, before the algorithm comes the idea. A sketch is not nostalgia, it is awareness. Those quick strokes may appear messy, yet they hold intent that software cannot invent.
Imagine a competition studio late on a Wednesday. The team fills a wall with 30 neural images that sparkle, but no one can explain why the mast tilts east or why the atrium floats. A junior designer grabs a charcoal stick and in 10 quiet minutes blocks out the civic axis, the shaded arcade, and the public overlook. Suddenly, the principal sees the story. That spontaneous drawing carries more insight than the entire folder of synthetic studies because the hand was thinking while it moved.
The practical takeaway is clear. Begin every concept with honest lines. Let the slow rhythm sharpen your intent, then invite artificial intelligence to elaborate on what you already understand. The final render will still meet the deadline, but it will keep your authorship instead of a preset texture pack.
If you try this discipline, share a photo of your latest sketch in the episode comments. We will curate the most telling examples for a future conversation where we study how analog clarity guides digital amplification.
All right, moving on to post number 3, the spotlight is on Matthew Hallett.
Hallett calls himself a global architectural AI pioneer, an inventor, and an artist.
His new post showcases a method that transforms any rough image into a nearly photographic scene with 92% accuracy.
The demonstration uses Fulton Market in Chicago, starting from a plain Google Earth capture.
He runs that capture through what he names the Forge detailing script, adds passes in Photoshop, and finishes with a modern city aerial model in SDXL.
The before frame looks blocky, almost like a cardboard mock-up.
The after frame feels crisp, with glass reflections, sky clarity, and even hints of material depth along the brick tower.
Hallett claims the workflow is part of his Advanced Hero tutorial and is unlocked for lifetime members on his site.
He also bundles the guide for free whenever someone buys one of his LoRa models, which he says are vital for this level of polish.
The pricing pitch is simple. For about the fee of hiring a drone operator twice, you receive endless renders at your own desk.
That makes sense when a firm needs many aerial previews, but tight schedules or weather keep drones grounded.
The script rebuilds missing pixel detail, straightens warped facades, and injects realistic skylighting, all inside a predictable pipeline.
The script also raises questions. How much of the final frame is true to the physical context, and how much is neural imagination?
Accuracy at 92% still leaves room for 8% drift, which might hide zoning conflicts or mislead sun studies.
A smart approach could pair his tool with on-site photography for validation, blending speed with responsibility.
Architects chasing early client approval could drop rough massings into Google Earth, apply Hallett's method overnight, and walk into morning meetings with persuasive visuals.
Urban planners might simulate redevelopment phases, quickly switching textures in minutes instead of nights of manual touch-up.
Students could turn studio block models into portfolio-ready images without waiting for lab workstations to free up.
The power is real, but so is the need for critical eyes. Use the boost, yet keep measuring against reality.
Let's dive into post number 4. Today, we talk about Bert Azizoglu and his company, Nubagon.
He leads a platform that began as a small idea and now serves clients in 90 countries.
His first post announces the winner of the 3D Ice video contest. The entry is by Edwin Boer.
The video is only 60 seconds, yet it does a lot. It shows classified point clouds of a survey.
It switches to an X-ray view that makes dense interiors clear.
It uses clay rendering to focus on surface relief.
Then it slides from raw point cloud to a clean BIM model.
Two-dimensional plans appear inside the scene so viewers can read scale quickly.
Smart Audio supports each visual turn, giving the piece rhythm.
Azizoglu writes that these choices help small firms stand out and win work. The contest process is simple. Social media picks 3 finalists. Conference guests vote live for the winner.
His second post steps back. He says, press play and picture what your client might see before thinking about scanners or codecs.
That is a clear reminder. Owners and planners first want clarity and promise, not brand names of sensors.
Yet, he still lists the tools for those who care. The capture stack includes NavVis mobile mapping, Leica static laser scanning, DJI drone photogrammetry, and Sony ground photos.
The project is a Baroque church in Hamburg. The team built a layered digital twin. It tells a story that spans centuries.
They began at LOD 200 to plan new lighting. They are growing it toward LOD 300 to show every arch, stained glass pane, and stone edge.
The platform also folds in technical data. Structural steel, MEP networks, even G-splat meshes come together in one window.
That single source of truth is useful. An engineer checks clearance. A curator inspects fragile art. A contractor sets demolition zones. No time lost hunting files.
3DISE itself deserves mention. It is an annual event that spotlights innovation in reality capture, scan to BIM, and immersive storytelling. The contest is only one piece of its program. Talks, panels, and hands-on labs round out the week.
Azizoglu positions Nubagon as the glue. It ingests huge scans, classifies geometry, and exports smooth animations without a steep learning curve.
For firms that cannot afford large VR teams, that promise is appealing. One pipeline, one export, many audiences.
The takeaway is simple. Show value first. Keep the tech in your pocket until the client asks.
Good. Let us move on to post number 5, a throwback from Javi Lopez, the founder of Magnific AI, now part of FreePic.
The date matters. This post is 11 months old, yet the demo still looks sharp.
Back then, he dazzled everyone with a 3-step spell: style transfer, Relight, upscale, 7 minutes. Basic SketchUp in, glossy sunset villa out.
Step 1 kept 80% of the geometric order, then painted stone, glass, and timber with a faithful flavor engine.
Step 2 swapped noon for golden hour, a fresh reference image, a clear prompt, a 90% light transfer, and the sky blushed.
Step 3 lifted the frame from 1 kilopixel to 4. Concrete pores appeared, grass showed blades, the scene could sit on any magazine spread.
Users cheered, a tool that saved hours of material work and render queues.
Fast forward, ContextFlux just landed. A base model that already understands style conditioning. No ControlNet, no extra LoRa.
That means the heavy lifting, which Magnific once split across 3 engines, is now native. 1 prompt, 1 pass, structure holds, style flows.
Imagine Lopez pointing this weight at Magnific. Style transfer becomes instant. Relight borrows the same backbone. Upscale runs cleaner because context is richer.
Think about the leap. Only 11 months separate early spells from this built-in power. Artificial intelligence races forward at sprint speed.
Developers like Lopez can focus on polish, batching, and cloud sync instead of workarounds.
Nabi Sarvi already published first tests. Raw context outputs rival last year's polished 4K plates. We dropped the sample pack and the free access guide in the episode caption.
Pause and reflect. If a foundation model grew this much in under a year, what will 12 more months bring?
Maybe tomorrow the base layer will predict light transport, remove fireflies, and tag every material for energy codes.
Our advice is simple. Use current tricks, save time, but keep your pipeline agile. Lock in too hard and you will rebuild every season.
Now your turn. Reprocess an old SketchUp study with ContextFlux, then share a side-by-side frame in the comments.
Show us how 11 months of progress can feel like a decade.
That closes post 5. Let us breathe, then continue the journey.
All right, let's move on to post number 6, this time from Kostika Lala, an architect who blends practice with applied AI.
He opens with a simple chain, a 3-dimensional model viewport, then ComfyUI, then Luma AI, ending with CapCut for the polish.
The idea is clear. Any software can draft form. ComfyUI lights it. Luma AI lets you fly through it. CapCut trims the story.
His short clip proves the order works. A raw block mass turns into a furnished loft that you can walk through in real time.
He lays out 5 checkpoints: spatial modeling, environment and light, material tuning with path navigation, cinematic interior, and final edit.
His short clip proves the order works. A raw block mass turns into a furnished loft that you can walk through in real time.
He lays out 5 checkpoints: spatial modeling, environment and light, material tuning with path navigation, cinematic interior, and final edit.
Notice the verbs he chooses: modeling, tuning, navigating, editing. Each stage feels like directing rather than grinding.
He ends the post with a question for the crowd. How are you bringing designs to life with Luma AI? Engagement bait done right.
His second post widens the lens. He remembers nights when computers cooked a single frame for hours while electricity bills climbed.
Now he builds visual stories in one afternoon. Machines idle less. Curiosity drives more.
He calls this the era of creatives, especially in architectural visualization.
A year ago, he hacked ControlNets on a front end, shaky yet exciting. Today, ControlNets sit everywhere. Stable, ready, no extra fuss.
Concept designs grow in ComfyUI plus FlexMania. Perspectives even shape inside ChatGPT, thanks to a built-in ControlNet that can switch seasons on the fly.
Motion is handled by Luma AI Dream Machine. It remains his pick for camera control in generative video.
He says the process now needs curiosity and a few robust tools, not a large post-production army. The deliverable moves from image to directed experience.
That line matters. We are not just showing buildings, we are writing a script the visitor feels.
He invites anyone exploring this field to connect, to trade pipelines and lessons.
The pattern we see echoes our earlier theme, idea to creation as dialogue. Tools shorten the gap, but the conversation stays human.
Try his chain. Start with your usual model, drop it into ComfyUI for mood, walk it in Luma AI, and cut a 90-second reel. Good. Let us move on to post number 7, a fresh drop from Lovis Odin, the ComfyUI specialist who lives for experimental pipelines.
His headline is simple. Google VO3 makes pretty starter clips. He wants more control.
He stacks a long chain. First, he rebuilds form with Flux, a LoRa trained for architecture. That gives new geometry on top of the base frames.
Then HunUnion 3D version 2 lifts the frames into true mesh. Depth appears, camera can shift.
Next, he sends the clip back through Flux plus ControlNet and a heavy denoise pass. Light shifts, shadows settle, colors unify.
He calls that stage Integrate and Relight. Edges tighten, textures resolve.
Final polish rides through WAN, 2.1, CosVid, and VAS. Motion blur lines up, grain balances, pacing feels cinematic.
Result looks like a trailer. Jungle dawn, stepped temple, hero silhouette, birds scatter.
He warns it is heavy. His run uses an H100. He thinks an A100 can handle it. Your studio laptop might cry.
Links to the complete workflows sit in his comments. Tutorial promises next week.
Now let us fold in our own note. We hunted for an architectural use case for VO3. Straight text to video felt distant from site work. Matte paint needs context.
Odin gives a clue. His Flux rebuild shows you can imprint new architectural mass into any shot, then move the camera.
Imagine swapping the jungle temple for a facade study. Same sunrise, new concrete skin, birds still scatter. Client sees form breathing in the setting, not a static board.
Cost is the catch. 6 passes, large tensors, long export. The dorm laptop may melt.
Clouds can help. Rent a burst of compute, finish the composite, release the fan.
The bigger insight is momentum. ControlNets were scarce last year. Now they sit in every creative loop, and Odin layers 4 at once.
The pace echoes our earlier point. 11 months changed the baseline. Pipelines will keep compressing. Time to wrap up. 7 posts, 7 perspectives on speed, craft, and exploration.
Pike showed a gray study that turned lively with 1 panorama loop.
Leroy reminded us that slow sketches sharpen vision before any prompt.
Hallett proved that aerial context can shift from fuzzy tiles to sharp city skin in minutes.
Azizoglu blended scans, clay passes, and layered twins, pushing clarity first and text second.
Lopez flashed back to a 3-spell workflow, then ContextFlux arrived and raised the floor for everyone.
Lala outlined a 5-link chain that takes any model from viewport to cinematic stroll.
Odin pushed VO3 beyond its limits, mixing Flux, Hunyanyan, and ControlNet into jungle drama, heavy yet inspiring.
The thread is clear. Tools keep changing. Curiosity stays steady.
Begin with intention, choose the lightest path, adapt when the foundation models leap.
Keep your eyes on story, texture, and experience. Let the kernels, checkpoints, and cloud bills follow.
Share experiments, patches, and missteps. The audience learns faster when we publish both wins and flaws.
Links to every workflow, sample pack, and free access note sit in the episode caption.
Next week, we tackle material intelligence and automated daylight studies.
Until then, close the laptop, sketch a thought, and imagine the scene before the model fills the screen.
As Nabi Sarvi says, every professional was once an amateur. Keep pushing forward. Take care.
Stay curious.